Hello everyone and welcome back to the course. In the previous lesson we had imported our object player along with the player sprite, and this time what we're going to be doing is creating the movement and some of the logic for our player. So let's go ahead and select our player, and then what we're going to do is come over here to this movement tab, and where it says the type of movement, what we're going to do is go ahead and select platform. So this is a built-in movement through ClickTeam Fusion 2.5, and I normally don't recommend these movements. That's why later on we're going to be going into more advanced movement where we create it ourselves and we have a lot more control. But for now, this is what we're going to be using. So there are many different built-in movements that you can use, such as non-physical movements, physical movements, which is physics, and then movement extensions. But we're just gonna leave it on the platform. We can pretty much leave everything the same for the initial direction, the speed, the acceleration, deceleration. One thing I'm going to change though is the strength. We can go ahead and uncheck moving at start. And for the strength, I'm going to set it to 200. And this is for the jump strength. So if we go ahead and hit play, you can see our character instantly falls. And that's because it now has the gravity applied to it and everything's pre-programmed for us. But let me just make sure that the movement is working. Yeah, we can go left and right. Okay, actually, before we do this, what I want to do is first go into the 8 directions just so you can kind of see here so we don't fall off the screen right away since there's no gravity. Um, so you can see we can move left, right, up, down. We can move diagonally and every which way. And that's all with the pre-built in functions here. But by switching it back to the platform, um, I don't want to go too in depth with the tile system. So for now, what we can do is just double click on an empty space in our room, or in our frame, excuse me. And what we're going to search is backdrop. And what a backdrop is, it's a background object, or you can use it for obstacles and platforms. So we're just going to select the basic backdrop, and we're going to hit OK. Go ahead and just click down here at the bottom, and what we're going to do is click on the runtime options and set the obstacle type to, you can do either obstacle or platform. I'm just going to set it to obstacle. And then what I'm going to do is double click on it, zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to hit Control A and delete it. And then I'm going to grab the paint bucket and just paint it black. And this is just for now, just so you can see what a platform is and how the player can interact with it. All right, so now let's hit play, and the player fell right through. All right, so why is that? We set the backdrop to an obstacle, and it has the built-in movement, so it should be stopping, right? Well, the reason why it fell through is because we actually have to set it to where we code what happens when the player hits the backdrop. So in order to do that, up here at the top, you should see this event editor icon. It's going to be right next to the frame editor. Go ahead and click on that. And this is where we can use our click code. So what we want to do is just a new condition. So you just click on where it says new condition here on the left. And what we're going to do is when our player collides with the backdrop, we're going to right click underneath our object player and hit movement stop. And now when we hit play, our player hits the ground and we can move left and right. And by default, shift is going to be the jump button, which we can change that here in a bit. So let me go back because the jump resets. So I'm going to go back to the movement, reset the strength to 200, and hit OK. And now I'll test it. There we go. So we can move left, right, When we hold shift, we jump. That's pretty high. All right, let's actually lower that down. Let's try 100. Might be a little bit better. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Now, what I don't like as well is that we can hold shift and jump around, but that's just because it's the built-in movement. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. I mean, we could create some flags in the code, which is basically a toggle on, toggle off situation. So we might do that later, maybe in the next scripting portion, but that's pretty much it for now. Also, what I wanted to say is that we can go outside the screen. So let's go ahead and stop that. Let's go back to our code here. We're going to say new condition when the player, we're going to go to the position, test position of object player, and we're just going to select the left and the right side of the screen here. And then we're going to hit OK. And what we're going to do is movement, stop. So now when we go left, we can't go off. And when we go right, we can't go off. So that's working perfectly. All right, well, that is pretty much it for this video. Go ahead and hit Control S to save your work. And then in the next video, we will go over some animations, possibly. We're definitely going to get the directions down. But for now, that is it. And I will see you all in the next lesson.